Good morning. If you could please all take your seats, our award ceremony is about to begin. Thank you and welcome to the Harvard Kennedy School. Today's student speakers were chosen by their peers to reflect on and celebrate their time at the Harvard Kennedy School. In their speeches, they will share their own perspectives in their own words on this important day. Please join me in giving them a warm welcome throughout today's award celebration. To formally kick us off, I'd like to welcome to the stage Class Marshals Paige Swem and Walter Wu.
Good morning. Welcome to Class Day. My name is Paige Swem, and I'm Class Marshal of the Mid-Career MPA program.
And my name is Walter Wu, and I'm one of the class marshals for the MPA program.
For most of us, this is the first opportunity to gather with friends and family as we kick off our graduation festivities. During our time at HKS, we've had the opportunity to learn and connect with people from around the world. Today, we celebrate the achievements of the members of the class of 2026 and the faculty and staff who have supported us along the way. While we're not celebrating our families and our support systems through awards, we wanted to take the time to thank you all for supporting us in our time at HKS. My journey was fueled by 3 meals a day and support from my husband, Sam. Thank you for making my dreams come true. And we all have dreams here for what comes next. This year, whether we used it as a pivot year or as a year deeper into our field of study, it has been the opportunity of a lifetime to learn from one another, each with our unique understanding of the world. I'm grateful to each of you whom I've been able to meet, and am deeply humbled by the exciting work you are each dedicated to.
Before HKS, I served in the United States Army, and I came here to find a new way to continue serving. I've been continually inspired and motivated by all the ways that the students here want to continue to serve their causes, communities, and their countries. Class of 2026, I'm excited to see how each one of you continues to serve those around you. And so this morning, I'm especially honored to introduce our next speaker, someone who relentlessly served our student body and vigilantly represented our needs to the administration. Please join me in welcoming the president of the Kennedy School Student Government and a good friend, Jerwin Tu.
Okay, sure. Hey! Good morning, everyone. When they first told me that I had to make a speech today, I looked at the class marshal and said, girl. Because how could I possibly summarize these beautiful past 2 years in just a few short minutes? But I decided to give it my best shot. My name is Jerwin Tu, and I am incredibly honored to have served as the 86th president of the Kennedy School Student Government. Our time at the Kennedy School has given us a wide range of resources that we will carry with us for the rest of our lives. We learned economic frameworks, understood systems of change, and even debated complicated policy recommendations, which, to be honest, I still don't even really know how to calculate market equilibrium. I feel like everyone just seems to know, and I kind of just pretend like I do. We were even told on our very first days here to ask what you can do. To which I decided to answer with free coffee for students. So I guess that's my lasting legacy here at this school. I came to the Kennedy School blinded by the brilliance and prestige of this institution. And while this place has provided all of us with the opportunities far beyond our expectations, I have found that the best parts of this institution lie in the people who comprise it. It is a place like the Harvard Kennedy School where students kickstarted the process to dename the Wexner Building and push for institutional accountability. It is a place like the Harvard Kennedy School where someone who grew up in the poorest parts of Las Vegas could become student body president. And it is a place like the Harvard Kennedy School where our student body represents 96 different countries with 59% of students coming from outside of the United States, sharing beautiful perspectives from around the globe. I am the son of Filipino and Chinese immigrants who, like many of you, came to this country to seek something extraordinary. And you, who come from different parts of the globe to share a little bit of your world, comprise some of the very best parts of our community here at HKS. Especially in a time where maladjusted federal leadership questions your place at this school and in this country more broadly, I would argue that the brilliance of our university has always come from people arriving here from different corners of the world, bringing with them entirely different ways of seeing the world. From rural New Hampshire to Southern California, and from Palestine to the bustling cities of Indonesia. Going forward, we are now on the precipice of an extraordinary opportunity to reinvent who we are. Whether you are career-bound, adrift in academia, entering public service, or standing at the crossroads of all of the beautiful opportunities laid before you, I have unwavering faith that all of you will move forward with brilliant courage and work to create change where change is needed most. I'm excited to spend the rest of our days celebrating the brilliant things our peers have accomplished and commemorating the moments we have shared throughout our time at HKS. And in a few years from now, I am very well aware that most of you probably won't remember anything I've said in the past 4 minutes. That's okay. But if there's one thing that I would like you to remember from this small chapter of your life, it's that the most magnificent and breathtaking reward of all is the communities we make and the company we keep. Communities are what keep us going, and I found this out while fighting for my life during my program's client-based capstone project, where I was staying at HKS Library way too late. Which, if you didn't know, if you stay at the library long enough, HKS security will escort you out very swiftly at 11 p.m. sharp. But being shepherded out alongside me were 5 other students who were dedicated and maybe just a little bit crazy enough to stay at HKS into the night just for the chance to create something meaningful for someone else who needed it most. Whether it was finding the best sweet treats in Boston, spending late nights at the Felipe's rooftop bar, sledding through the cruel and bitter Cambridge winter, or showing off your best moves on the spring ball dance floor, I am now learning that I have felt the wealthiest, the most fulfilled, and the richest when I spend time around all of you. And being surrounded by all of you has made me realize that the greatest privilege of all is being able to share your life with others. As we go out into the world, we are all leaving with our fancy Harvard degrees and an opportunity to decide what kind of people we want to be and who we want to extend our love, care, and humanity towards. And I would be remiss not to encourage you all to share it with the undocumented immigrant working tirelessly to keep their family afloat, to share it with the single mother exhausted from fighting systems that fail her time and time again, to share it with children growing up amid the brutal realities of war, and with refugee families displaced from their home that they may never return to. Because at the end of the day, I am learning that the most meaningful part of our lives will not be the titles we hold, the awards we receive, or the prestige we accumulate, but rather the people we choose to love and care for along the way. So to the class of 2026, my peers, my classmates, and most importantly, my friends, I have no doubt that your lives will be filled with so much love, and I am so excited to see who you decide to share it with. Thank you so much for making this place feel like home.
Hi, everyone. Ooh, there's a lot more people here than I. My name is Helen. I'm one of the MCMPR marshals with Paige, and we are absolutely delighted to start the series of awards, starting with the Sue Williamson Spirit Award, which recognizes a member of our community who significantly enhances the student experience. It celebrates the kind of person who makes this place feel more welcome, more like home. This school would not be the same without our incredible custodial staff who do the work every single day and do the heavy lifting, quite literally, for us every day in and day out. Yeah, absolutely. And if anyone knows Daniel Amato, we know that he is someone who we constantly rely on, not just for his dedication and commitment, but the smile that he brings. Thank you so, so much, and we are so grateful for all that you do for us. Yeah. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you. I appreciate this so much. God bless you all.
This morning, we're honored to recognize someone whose dedication, professionalism, and quiet leadership have made an extraordinary impact at HKS. As a faculty assistant, Stacy Hannell has been a steady presence behind the scenes, and I've personally benefited from her exceptional care, precision, and generosity. Stacy, those who know Stacy know that her contributions extend way beyond her formal role. She fosters community, creates calm in moments of complexity that HKS brings, and consistently goes above and beyond to help others. Her kindness, integrity, dedication have all left a lasting mark on all of us and this institution. Please join me in honoring and celebrating Stacy Hannell for her outstanding service and contribution. Okay, we will hold on to Stacy's for her when she arrives. Thank you.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Cameron Davis, and I have the honor of serving as a class marshal for the Masters in Public Administration class of 2026. Thank you, 7 of you. Woo. It's a privilege to speak with you today about someone who has quietly become a central part of the Harvard Kennedy School community, Nicole Plummer, security supervisor for the school. Harvard's a pretty crazy place, and the Kennedy School more than anywhere else at the university. In the past year alone, we've hosted presidents and prime ministers here from Germany, the Czech Republic, Tanzania, and Ecuador. Japanese, Singaporean, European, and Australian ambassadors and chief diplomats have visited too, as have countless cabinet-level leaders like Secretary of State Antony Blinken, Speaker of the House Paul Ryan, Secretary of Transportation Pete Buttigieg, and Vice President Mike Pence. That's not to mention Billie Jean King and the cast of Veep. With this who's who of global leadership, combined with the worrying uptick in political violence and very real threats to public figures, security at HKS is a really hard job. Luckily, we have Nicole. With a cheerful demeanor and team player attitude and a smile I'm sure you can see from back there, she's a familiar face to anyone crossing the threshold into HKS. She's gone above and beyond in her role, helping visitors navigate our school's impossibly complex layout, maintaining professionalism, and doing it all with empathy, patience, and care. One student nominating Nicole for this award described her as a bright light and a warm welcome to HKS, always ready with encouragement and advice. Nicole, thank you for being a core member of this community, and as a heartfelt expression of our gratitude, please accept this award.
Thank you.
Hello again. I'm honored to present the final recipient of this year's Sue Williamson Spirit Award. If you're a student who has ever come to school hungry or thirsty, and you've gotten a serendipitous notification that there's beef lasagna in Malkin Penthouse, or pad thai in Rubenstein 414, or any other free food items, please raise your hand. I'm delighted to see the direct impact that our next awardee, Suzanne Shende, has had on the students here. Whether it's sending out notifications on the HKS food chain or helping MPA students navigate the administrative requirements to graduate, Suzanne has been integral to the success of both MPA and mid-career MPA students in the Edward S. Mason program. Her dedication to students in both programs is evident with this nomination. One student shared the following: "She has been a true listener whenever I needed to share my concerns. She supported me in organizing events and connecting me with alumni. She is always busy, yet somehow she cares about everyone and still finds the time to support each of us. Please join me in congratulating Suzanne Shende, Assistant Director of MPA Programs and the Director of the Edward S. Mason Program."
And we will now welcome Kate Monahan to present our next award. Thank you.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Kate Monahan, and I'm the director of the Master in Public Policy program. That's right. The Ellen S. Raphael Award was established in the memory of a 1982 MPP alumna of the same name. Ellen Raphael distinguished herself through a remarkable career in educational leadership and policymaking, and after her unexpected passing just before her 43rd birthday, her family decided to recognize a graduating MPP each year who exemplifies her characteristics of intellectual excellence, academic accomplishment, zest for public service, commitment to HKS, personal warmth, integrity, and loyalty. Earlier this spring, a few of us gathered to consider the nominations of several extraordinary MPPs. We agreed that one was clearly wonderful in all the right ways: a strong record of academic excellence, a commitment to public service, social justice, and their community at HKS, and a gift for friendship and loyalty. In short, an inspiring 2026 version of Ellen Raphael's legacy. This year's award winner was described by their peers as someone whose contributions to the community were steady and sincere, supporting others in a quiet and consistent way. They're described as being someone who takes time to bring people together and make them feel a sense of belonging. Graduates and guests, please join me in welcoming to the stage the 2026 Ellen S. Raphael Award winner, Ario Mesquita.
Next, we have Chris Avery for the Prize for Outstanding Policy Analysis. Just kidding, it's Kate Monahan back. Okay.
All right, calling a little bit of an audible here. I'll be presenting the award for Outstanding Policy Analysis Exercise for 2026. I have to share with you that I wasn't actually on the selection committee, so I don't know exactly what makes this PAE extraordinary. But I will say that this is a project that all of our students work incredibly hard on. It is the culminating experience of the Master in Public Policy program, and all students put an incredible amount of work into the final product that's due in the spring. This year's policy analysis exercise, or Outstanding Award for Policy Analysis Exercise, goes to a project called Closing the Loop, Improving Innovation Feedback Between Soldiers, Startups, and Strategy, and the award goes to Luke Hillian, Niels Olsen, and Dan Smith. Oh.
All right. Now we have Matthias Riese coming to present the Carl Ryan Center Prize for Human Rights.
Good morning, everyone. I know it's getting tired, but let's do it again. Good morning, everyone. Much better. My name is Matthias Riese, and I'm the director of the Carl Ryan Center for Human Rights. The Carl Ryan Center is on that mysterious second floor of Rubinstein, locating which or finding your way out of which has given quite a number of you a sense of being trapped inside a Kafka novel or an Escher painting. And if you have no idea what I'm talking about, then I hope that you too will find space for human rights in your hearts at some point. But joking aside, the basic commitment behind human rights is that everyone is deserving of certain protections and provisions. Everyone. Yet there are many countries where human rights work is dangerous, sometimes mortally dangerous. Moreover, human rights organizations, and currently in the United States, also human rights centers at universities, including those at Harvard, are routinely attacked by governments seeking to undermine their credibility, not to mention the armies of trolls driven by the conviction that their favorite government can do no wrong. The current administration has recently started to target the Southern Poverty Law Center, a storied civil rights organization committed to fighting racial discrimination. It has also sanctioned Hate Aid, an organization based in Berlin that supports people who have been victimized by online hate speech. And as if to illustrate its gaslighting approach to human rights, the government is offering asylum to white South Africans based on bizarre claims that they're being mistreated at a large scale. And all around the world, genuine hierarchies of grief have taken hold, depending on where you live and what news you follow. Certain losses of life are considered much more worthy of consideration than others. Some conflicts receive almost no attention in the news coverage at all. Chief among them, the devastating war in Tigray and its consequences. Even among the people who can reliably find their way to the second floor of Rubinstein, I've noticed many would not know what continent Tigray is on. Universalism has always been a thin doctrine consisting of a commitment to sovereign equality of states and to human rights for everyone. In recent times, in many circles, even its official endorsement has collapsed. We must honestly assess whether universalism has expired at this stage. All year long, we have been dealing with developments of this kind, and yet I have found parts of the HKS student body, so your year, to be on balance oddly apolitical. This observation does, of course, not apply to everyone, far from it. But I sometimes did have a sense that many of you were hoping the world would somehow mend itself. But that kind of thing never happens. Unlike the second floor of Rubinstein, there's nothing mysterious about that. Senator Edward Kennedy once famously exclaimed that the work goes on, the cause endures, the hope still lives, and the dream shall never die. But that, of course, presupposes that many people do the work, pursue the cause, embody the hope, and dream the dream. This year, as this country approaches its 250th anniversary under very troubling circumstances, we need such workers, pursuers, embody us, and dream us. And I very much hope that includes most or ideally all of you, since what is at stake is your future and literally the future of everyone around you at this very moment. Tomorrow, you will march to the tune of Elgar's Pomp and Circumstance. Honoring achievements is a good way of easing the transition back into this difficult world. Honoring achievements in the human rights domain is a good way of recognizing that the human rights field does have many champions at the Harvard Kennedy School, and that some of them have done truly extraordinary work in their theses. In that spirit, it is now my distinct pleasure to honor one of those students by awarding her the Carl Ryan Center Prize for Human Rights. The recipients of this prize has provided Human Rights Watch, one of the world's most prominent human rights organizations, with an incisive analysis of the complex situation of Syrian refugees contemplating a return home from Lebanon. She has offered a cogent discussion of historical precedents to guide consideration of her clients' options, as well as lucid, grounded, and convincing recommendations for action. As her advisor, Jackie Barber, notes in a recommendation written with palpable enthusiasm and really plain joy, this is an exemplary piece of work that combines meticulous research, rigorous attention to empirical nuance, and compelling argument with beautifully clear, simple, and straightforward writing, and a very useful set of perfectly crafted charts and maps. Nobody ever says that kind of thing about my work. The title of this impressive PAE is Safe, Dignified, Voluntary, and Informed, ? Assessing the experience of Syrian refugees returning from Lebanon after Assad. And the author, and thus the recipients of this year's Carl Ryan Center Prize for Human Rights, is Natalie Bussemaker. The Universal Declaration of Human Rights and the movement to which it lends expression are among the greatest achievements of humanity. Let us never forget that. And the single most important thing about human rights is that they are for everyone. They need a lot of support to stick around, and they need the support now more than ever. So I would hope that for all of you, one of your lifelong projects is or will become to find ways of integrating human rights into your professional lives, into your work, your pursuits, your embodiments, and your dreams. Natalie's work draws attention to one domain where this matters. And all of this applies regardless of whether you ever succeeded in getting a clear sense of the location of the second floor of Rubinstein in this complex from which you are now making your way back into this difficult world. Congratulations, everyone.
You go through.
Good morning. Oh, come on. Good morning. Thank you. Wow. My name is David Luberoff. I am the Director of Fellowships and Events for the Harvard Joint Center for Housing Studies. As many of you know, the joint in Joint Center refers to the fact that we are a joint collaboration of the Kennedy School and the Graduate School of Design, and we strive to be the place at Harvard that brings together people interested in housing from throughout the university. I'm also proud to say I am an alumnus of the Kennedy School of Government, mid-career 1989. Each year, the Joint Center awards a prize for the best paper on housing written by a master's degree candidate enrolled in any of Harvard's graduate programs, and that's why we're not on your program, because we didn't know who was going to win this prize till just a few days ago. The nominees for this year's prize included several terrific PAEs and SYPAs. And after much deliberation, the committee has decided to award the prize to Juan Sebastian Rodriguez Leon, for his SYPA. For those of you not familiar with the Kennedy School, that is second-year policy analysis, a comprehensive revision to Colombian policy tools for housing conditions. I believe this is the first SYPA to win this award. The paper focuses on the fact that while public investment in housing in Colombia has increased by over 250% in the last 2 decades, millions of people still live in substandard housing, particularly people of low and moderate income, particularly people of low and moderate income who live in smaller cities, and especially people of low and moderate income who live in smaller cities in far-flung, historically underserved parts of the country. The paper is an extraordinary combination of technical analysis of a variety of microdata, detailed fiscal analysis of a variety of potential policies, and a really thoughtful political and institutional analysis of what it would take to implement a variety of new housing policies. Professor Anders Jensen, one of those who nominated the SYPA, called it a, quote, technically superb piece of work, among the best SYPAs he had ever read, that proposes, quote, plausible, cost-effective policy solutions to a persistent problem in Colombia. I am honored to present this prize and look forward to learning about its impacts over the coming years.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Theo Zhang. I am one of the class marshal for the MPP class of 2026.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Gaurav Kawani, and I'm another one of the class marshals for the MPP class of 2026. Theo and I today are so thrilled to introduce this year's MPP class speaker, Sumedha Tanwar. Sumedha comes to us from India, where she started her career around sustainable development in nonprofit and international organizations, work which has taken her to places like the Czech Republic, Canada, and Switzerland. She has worked for institutions like the World Bank and the World Economic Forum, helping to scale private capital and sustainable development, mobilize youth to create change in their communities, and advocate for meaningful engagement of marginalized communities in policymaking at the United Nations. As her classmates, it's been clear to us from day one that she is deeply committed to fostering a just and equitable world.
At HKS, Sumedha wears about a dozen hats. She holds leadership positions in the Indian Caucus, Women in Defense, Diplomacy and Development, and in the Business and Government Professional Interest Council, and somehow still find time to be a loud and proud member of the Beta cohort. As a Delta myself, Gaurav and Gamma here, Gaurav and I have agreed generously not to hold this against her. We also want to give a special shout out to Sumedha's parents and family friends who travel continents to be here with us tonight, this morning at this moment, as well as her brother, sister-in-law, and friends turning in on this live stream. Thank you for raising and loving the person we are about to hear from. Sumedha embodies the drive, the heart, the commitment to service, and define the MPP class of 2026. It is our absolute joy to welcome our class speaker, Sumedha Tanwar.
Thank you so much, Gaurav and Theo, for the kind introduction. Thank you so much, everybody. I see the betas and my other friends, family friends. Thank you so much for being here, and to my MPP program classmates for empowering me to be here. I want to start with something we do not say out loud enough: how extraordinarily fortunate we are to be here. In another world, I wouldn't be here. I was born in Jind, a small town in India. It's about 70 miles from Delhi. It is a place that I love and one that shaped me. In the small world that I was born into, the birth of a girl was not always treated as a celebration. Neighbors would lower their voices and say, "There's always next time." But my parents reached for another part of our culture, the part that sees a girl as Lakshmi, as prosperity, as a blessing entering the home. And that is how they welcomed me. They gave me everything I needed to find my way through the challenges of being a girl in a society that tells her she doesn't belong in certain rooms and roles. I know how unbelievably rare it is. How many people never get that opportunity? I know there are many girls like me with the same dreams, same hopes, same ambitions, who never had the fortune to make it to where we all are sitting today. Most of us can trace a version of the story, not the same story, but the same structure. The barriers you face on your journey to Harvard, the family and friends that helped you overcome them, and the community that made you believe a place like this was for you. And most people on this planet will never have this opportunity. We did. And now we are about to step back into that same world to make decisions that affect people who never had what we had. I think we should feel that, not as guilt, but as weight, as responsibility we choose to carry forward. Our time at Harvard has made us into people who are confident and competent in rooms where decisions get made. We can tell a story that moves a room with our words and numbers. And we can also build arguments like we learned in our negotiations course. We can write an impressive policy memo. We can speak the language of power with fluency. And these are gifts, especially when we are a community of future leaders of cities, countries, civil society, multinational and multilateral institutions. But we are still left with an important question. How do we challenge powerful institutions when they need to be challenged, even when we are a part of those institutions? Is the polish that we've acquired a tool that we control, or will it quietly control us? The risk we should guard against is not failure. The risk we should guard against is a very competent, very articulate form of complacency, because the challenges of the world we are walking into cannot afford that complacency. In many ways, they're the result of it. Somewhere, a smallholder farmer is watching their harvest fail for the third year in a row because of a climate crisis they played no role in contributing to. Somewhere, a child in a war zone is waiting for food, medicine, or safe passage while adults with power negotiate the terms of their survival. Somewhere, a girl who has been denied an education is wishing she could sit in beautiful classrooms like ours. These very real stories remind us that those with the least power bear the greatest cost of choices they did not make. Because someone, somewhere, with power made a decision that impacted these lives. The world is not short on smart people with credentials. It is short on people willing to be genuinely uncomfortable. Who will speak up in the powerful rooms, not because it is strategic, but because it's right? And I ask again, how do we challenge powerful institutions when they need to be challenged? This brings me to a hopeful note, because I have seen this community challenge powerful institutions. When during one of the hardest moments for international students last year, when policies were shifting and belonging felt very conditional, I walked into the front courtyard and found a circle of American students, international students, faculty and staff, not just showing up, but mobilizing. When our American classmates checked on all of the international students to make sure we got home safely. when our professors redesigned their class plans in real time to make space for what we were all living through. When contingency plans were drawn up because this school refused to let belonging become conditional. And in a world that was asking institutions to look away, our community, all of us here, looked directly at each other and said, "You belong here." And I believe we can carry this forward. This belief, this commitment, this willingness to stand up when standing up is not easy. We will be tested. That time will come. The test will not come in a classroom or a case study. It will come in a quiet moment when no one is watching. When the compromise in front of us is small enough to rationalize. And in that moment, we will realize that the cost of integrity is real. My parents did that belief, built that belief for a little girl like me in a small town in India. So I hope that when that moment of test comes, I hope we remember what it felt like when someone believed in us. Because our HKS community, people we are sitting next to each other today, did it for us. So, class of 2026, the greatest thing we can do with this privilege of being here is carry it with integrity. Congratulations!
Good morning and warmest congratulations to our graduates and their families, and thank you for this wonderful speech. Of course, it's very, very difficult to follow in your shoes at this moment, but in some ways it's also very fitting because I'm up here to present one of our research centers that works to advance gender equity around the world, enable everyone to belong and everyone to thrive. My name is Iris Bonnet. I'm on the faculty here at the Kennedy School, and I co-direct the Women and Public Policy program. I'm here today to present 3 awards to you. The first award is the Barbara Jordan Award for Women's Leadership. Barbara Jordan was the first African-American woman elected to the Texas Senate, and the first African-American woman from the South to be elected to the US House of Representatives. Jordan was a skilled orator and known for her powerful speeches, including her opening speech during the impeachment process against Richard Nixon, which is thought to be one of the greatest speeches of 20th century American history. She was a strong advocate for civil rights, voting rights, equality for all Americans, regardless of race, of gender, of socioeconomic status, or any other part of people's identity. This award honors one graduating student at Harvard Kennedy School for their commitment to building community and for serving as a role model for women and men in our community. I would like to congratulate this year's recipient, Chris Lee. During her time at HKS, Chris has worked to create opportunities to encourage women and help them thrive at HKS and beyond. They served as the Vice President of Gender Equity on KSSG and as a leader of the Human Rights Caucus. Furthermore, Chris has conducted extensive grassroots feminist work across China, Ecuador, Costa Rica, and Puerto Rico. One of the nominators wrote, "What I admire most about Chris is how naturally they leverage leadership to advance women and gender equity. They don't treat this as a side issue or a talking point. It is central how they build community, how they do advocacy, and how they imagine public service. Please join me in honoring the 2026 recipient of the Barbara Jordan Award for Women's Leadership, Chris Lee. Each year, the Women in Public Policy program honors students for the best research paper with an analysis of an organization or topic focused on gender and public policy. This award is named in honor of Jane Mansbridge, the Adams Professor of Political Leadership and Democratic Values Emerita at Harvard Kennedy School. Professor Mansbridge is a WAP founding faculty chair and has been instrumental in fostering, conducting and promoting gender-focused research, as well as changing the face of power at HKS through her portraiture project. This year, we are incredibly pleased to award the Jane Mansbridge Research Award to Andrea Salazar Diaz and Stephanie Wu. While the two honorees make their way to the stage, let me tell you what their SAIPA is about. The title is Rethinking Masculinity Norms in India, and it was advised by Professor Eliana LaFerrara. Please join me on the stage. Okay, so here goes. The SAIPA examines how masculinity norms are shaped and reinforced among young men in India, and how these norms affect women's opportunities and safety. Through a survey of more than 1,200 men, a content analysis of social media narratives, 25 stakeholder interviews, and in partnership with the Center for Men and Boys, Andrea and Stephanie developed policy recommendations to promote healthier masculinity norms in a setting where traditional gender norms continue to put women and girls at risk. This is an ambitious and exceptionally rigorous research paper, and it exemplifies the mission of this award, not only through its scholarly contribution, which is excellent, but also through its commitment to policy impact and gender equity. Please join me in honoring the 2026 recipients of the Jane Mansbridge Research Award, Andrea and Stephanie. And finally, it is my pleasure to present the Holly Taylor Sargent Prize for Women's Advancement. The award was established in 2005 by the late Joseph S. Nye Jr., former dean of the Kennedy School, and his wife, Molly Nye, to honor a student's contribution to the advancement of women at the Kennedy School and in the world. This award is given in recognition of Holly Taylor Sargent, former Senior Associate Dean for Advancement and Senior Director for University Women's Initiatives, a leader whose contributions to the advancement of women have made a lasting impression on the Harvard Kennedy School over many decades. I'd like to congratulate this year's recipient, Karina Stone. So while Karina makes her way up to the stage, let me tell you a little bit about Karina's leadership here at the Kennedy School. Karina is an MPP student who has been a leader in advancing women's safety. Please join me on the stage. Karina, this is your moment, please. Karina is an MPP student who has been a leader in advancing women's safety and gender equity here at the Kennedy School. She has spearheaded several initiatives to support women on campus, including Sexual Assault Awareness Month campaigns, tabling for the UN's 17 Days of Activism for Gender Equality, organizing major community events focused on survivor advocacy, and co-founding the Crimson Alliance for Survivors of Sexual Violence. One of Karina's recommenders wrote, "She has shown real moral courage in speaking up about issues of sexual violence, institutional responsibility, and what it means to build a culture that stands with survivors." To me, Karina truly reflects the spirit of this prize and of our school. Please join me in honoring the 2026 recipient of the Holly Taylor Sargent Prize for Women's Advancement, Karina Stone.
Hello again. Walter and I are genuinely so excited to be back up here representing the Master's in Public Administration class to introduce you to the extraordinary speaker from the MPA cohort of 2026. Our small but mighty cohort, at only about 60 people, it's the most tightly knit at the school, features an eye-watering diversity of backgrounds. Every single one of us has at least one other master's degree, a little expensive. We hail from 30 countries and speak dozens of languages. And our ranks include diplomats, veterans, actors, lawyers, startup founders, campaign managers, and leaders from all walks of life.
That's why it's so remarkable that even among us in our cohort, our speaker stands out and shines so brightly. That's partially due to her resume. She's an emergency medicine physician who's balanced a full course load here at Harvard with clinical work as an emergency doctor at Mass General, one of the best hospitals in the country. Before moving up north, she trained at and served on the faculty of the University of Kentucky Department of Emergency Medicine in her home state. She's been involved in national physician policy work, including serving as the president of the Emergency Medicine Residents Association and its 20,000 members, and authoring policy adopted by the American Medical Association and other national physician organizations. But our speaker primarily stands out for her character, bubbly, joyful, and deeply caring. She's a dedicated friend, thoughtful student, and warm classmate. She's always just as quick with a smile in the hallways as an insight on healthcare or some other social issues.
So, without further ado, friends, family, and especially the MPA cohort she so wonderfully represents, please join Walter and me in giving a warm welcome and a big round of applause for the 2026 MPA class speaker, Jess Adkins.
Thank you so much. Thank you. That's so kind. Well, thank you to my MPA classmates for allowing me to share some reflections today. I am so grateful I got to spend 2 transformative years with such kind and inspiring people. What our guests may not know about the small but mighty 2-year MPA program is that many of us are uniquely positioned between public and private sectors. Most have a Master's of Business Administration and have worked in consulting or finance. I'm an ER doctor and have worked in the US healthcare system, so we all are dealing with some exhausting trade-offs of other people's very profitable decisions. I've learned that we actually have a lot in common now that I've gotten to ask about a dozen of you what consultants actually do. It's a lot like medical residency. They work over 60 hours a week. When they're off for a weekend, they party a little too hard, and their boss is constantly making them feel like if they make a mistake, someone will die, and it will be their fault. But regardless of our backgrounds and where we go from here, today means we have the privilege of making a bigger impact than before. But privilege comes with some blind spots, and I want to take a moment to touch on some of the trade-offs that we make when deciding for companies, communities, and public agencies. In thinking back on what brought me to HKS, I, like many of you, remember myself as an advocate. When I see patients in the ER, I always feel impassioned by the bigger societal challenges that brought them to their ED visit. I remember one little old lady I'd seen in the ER back in Kentucky who came in with diabetes and really high blood sugar. She was exhausted, dehydrated, and as it turns out, she was unable to afford a refill of her insulin supplies because of some insurance issues that she barely understood, let alone could explain to me. But this and so many experiences with patients who are just getting by led me to see healthcare as a fundamental human right, something we, especially in the wealthiest country on the planet, owe each other. But like many advocates working through nonprofits and my own channels, I had grown weary of shouting at the government from outside about how things should be, and I came to HKS to learn how to use government systems to make healthcare and daily life better for people. What I found was a wealth of wisdom on making change in complex systems. How can we shift incentives to make it easy for people in power to do the right thing? In her class on the US healthcare industry, Professor Daphne showed us what happens when we rely on a free market to fix healthcare. In Poverty and Public Policy, Professor Shepard taught how a patchwork of welfare programs try to fix healthcare. And others provided a space for me to think about reaching across the aisle to fix healthcare with rational actors in the case of Pinar Doan's course on game theory, and technically irrational ones in Rob Wilkinson's Negotiation and Secretary Fox's Bridging the Divide. We've learned to engineer win-win scenarios, or at least scenarios where our interests are met. But what about when making the world a better place comes at a cost to us? What will we do then? In my case, I believe universal healthcare is the best solution to ensure that no one has to choose between their medications and their groceries. But in the US, yeah. But in the US, doctors have historically been some of the most influential opponents to universal healthcare. We all have to be honest about our own role and our own costs in these unequal systems. I'm not saying that would make these problems easy to solve. Big public challenges are hard in part because they aren't profitable, at least not in the short term, or the private sector would have solved them already. But I'm asking that when we do look for solutions, we don't become blind to those that require our own sacrifices. This incredible MPA class will go on to lead companies, communities, and agencies impacting millions. Will our financial decisions align with this public good that we say we believe in? I'm talking decisions about taxes, even where you send your kids to school, how we treat our employees. These decisions seem personal and local, but they're central to wealth inequality worldwide. They build walls financially and socially between the haves and have-nots. I believe our training, once complete, should not just become letters after our name. Whether it's MD or MPA, these letters should change you. They should connect you to a greater purpose. And carrying a master in public administration from Harvard should be a badge of honor, not because it's an elite institution, but because the leaders and ideas we've been exposed to here have changed the world. Now that so many have invested in our potential, we have a responsibility to put the public's needs before our own. With the inequality in this country and across the globe today, our integrity is not measured by the battles we choose when winning those battles rewards those of us graduating from Harvard today. For me, it means it's not enough for me to call out bad practices of insurance companies. I need to be open to earning a bit less, sacrificing my advancement, even burning a few bridges if need be, in the fight for universal health care. For my little Kentucky grannies and for all your grannies across the world, if that is how we lead, then we can say we are worthy of the public's trust. Now, let's go be worthy. Thank you.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Rania Brooks. I'm the director for the Office of Belonging, Community, and Connection, and I'm honored to be here today to present the OBCC Excellence Award to Karina Stone, who I hope didn't go too far. I had the opportunity It seems you all agree. I had the opportunity to meet Karina in my first couple of weeks here at the Kennedy School, and admittedly, I was deeply impressed. Oh, I'm gonna cry. I was impressed by her passion, her clarity of purpose, and the empathy she clearly holds for the people and communities that she cares about. Karina modeled openness, humility, and respect in her willingness to listen, challenge, and be challenged. And she worked to build bridges across people and perspectives, and while bringing others along, cultivate a community united by a common cause to make the world safer, freer, and more just for women and girls, and by implication for all. Karina, you've had a profound impact on me in my short time at the Kennedy School, and I can't wait to see the impact you have on the communities and causes you touch in your future. Congratulations. Thank you.
Good morning, everybody. I'm Gordon Hansen. I'm the Peter Wertheim Professor of Urban Policy and the Academic Dean for Strategy and Engagement here at Harvard Kennedy School. And it's my pleasure this morning to give out 4 sets of awards on behalf of the Malcolm Weiner Center for Social Policy. These awards are the Manuel C. Carballo Memorial Prize, the Frederick Fisher Memorial Prize, the Susan C. Eaton Memorial Prize, and the William Julius Wilson Research Award. Each award winner will receive a certificate and a cash prize from the Malcolm Weiner Center. Overall, the social policy is one of the largest areas for concentration at Harvard Kennedy School, which means that this year's group of faculty and senior staff evaluating the policy analysis exercises, the second-year policy analyses, case studies, and other research papers had a large volume of work to go through, and it meant selecting this year's winners was exceptionally difficult. The first award is named in honor of Manuel C. Carballo. He was a faculty member at Harvard Kennedy School from 1978 to 1982, who also served in important public service positions during his distinguished career. The Carballo Award recognizes outstanding research related to the implementation, management, and evaluation of programs serving disadvantaged populations in the United States. Please join me in congratulating this year's winners, 3 co-authors for their outstanding policy analysis exercise, Sadie Emsch, Olivia Mallory, and Danya Nagaswaran. Oh, no, that's okay. Their policy analysis exercise, stay here, Steve. Their policy analysis exercise was titled From Replication to Results, Measuring RAP's Role in Rebuilding the Appalachian Economy. It was my honor to be a faculty advisor for this award. And what they've done in their work is create a framework for one of the most innovative workforce development organizations in Appalachia to extend its model into the poorest and most remote parts of the Appalachian region. Congratulations. The next award is the Frederick Fisher Memorial Prize. It honors the memory of Fred Fisher, an alumnus of the school's MPP program and a committed public servant. This award is presented for research on topics including criminal justice and the criminal legal system, inequality, economic and social mobility, industrial policy, workforce development, and other areas of social policy. Please join me in acknowledging this year's Frederick Fisher Memorial Prize winner, Rod Mushtaghi. Rod's policy analysis exercise was entitled Building Canada's Early Warning and Response System for AI Job Displacement, something our graduates this year aren't thinking anything about. It turns out that Canada has really been at the forefront of thinking about how to address AI, and there are a set of Kennedy School graduates who are leading that effort. Rod's work and then contributes to an important area of public policy on one of the most challenging issues of our time. Congratulations. The next award is the Susan C. Eaton Memorial Prize, which honors the memory of Susan Eaton, who was a member of the Harvard Kennedy School community as a student, alumna, and faculty member from 1993 to 2003. Ms. Eaton was a tireless advocate for the rights of workers in her work as a union organizer, in her teaching and research at Harvard Kennedy School. This award recognizes research excellence in a topic related to Ms. Eaton's work, including human resource management, healthcare quality, union leadership, fair wage policy, and family and work policy. Please join me in congratulating this year's winner of the Susan C. Eaton Memorial Prize, a team of 4 co-authors, Chet Agni, Christina Orwela-Lane, So in addition to Chet and Christina, we have Julia Long and Eli Melendra. Their outstanding policy analysis exercise addressed the changing healthcare policy landscape in the United States, in which federal funding expands during some presidential administrations and contracts during others. Their policy analysis exercise was entitled 50 States, One Union, State-Level Labor Advocacy Responses to 2025 Federal Healthcare Cuts. Congratulations. And the final award I'm presenting on behalf of the Malcolm Wiener Center is the William Julius Wilson Research Award. Bill Wilson was one of the most important scholars to have called the Kennedy School his home. His work on the truly disadvantaged tracked the rise of entrenched poverty in urban inner cities in the 1960s and 1970s and proved incredibly influential in the reform of welfare policies in subsequent decades. This award honors his scholarship. Bill is the Lewis and Linda Geiser University Professor Emeritus at Harvard University, and he is a founder and former director of the Malcolm Wiener Center's Joblessness and Urban Poverty Research Program. This award recognizes an outstanding research paper written on a topic that Professor Wilson's academic research addressed, including racial inequality, poverty, unemployment, and segregation. Please join me in congratulating this year's recipient of the William Julius Wilson Research Award, Avi Murti. Avi, who is completing his dissertation here at the Kennedy School, wrote a thesis entitled The Defender on the Move, Black Newspapers and the Great Migration. In this work, he solved a long-standing riddle, which was, why was it that it took so long for black families to leave the South and move to the North after the end of the Civil War? What Avi shows in his work is that one of the primary obstacles to getting that migration going was the absence of information about working conditions in the North. And he tracks the role that railroad porters played in distributing newspapers from the North to the South to help black workers understand the opportunities that awaited them in the North. It's a great piece of work. Congratulations, Avi.
Good morning and buenos días a todos. Congratulations y muchas felicidades to all the graduates, your families, and your loved ones. I also wanted to send a warm hello to the HKS state and local alumni watching online today. My name is Rafael Carbonell. I'm the Executive Director of the Taubman Center for State and Local Government. I'm also an adjunct lecturer of public policy here at the Kennedy School. At the Taubman Center, we passionately support current and future public sector workers and leaders in improving the governance of states, counties, cities, and towns. Now more than ever, this work is crucial as the OG of this country, federalism and states' rights, are being seriously tested. States, counties, cities, and towns are having to do more with less. This year alone, there are 36 gubernatorial elections with no fewer than 19 gubernatorial transitions throughout this country. And while much of the country will be rightfully looking at the congressional midterms, we will be closely watching the barometer of this country and its voting come November at the gubernatorial level. At the Taubman Center, we believe this is a tremendous opportunity and a call to action for HKS students to bring their skills and service to state and local government. It's one of the reasons we focus so much on providing students with experiential learning opportunities to serve state and local governments while at HKS. As our director, Professor Jeff Liebman likes to say, we believe that if we can just get our students a little bit of a taste of state and local, they're going to be hooked for life. So this includes serving newly elected leaders through transition term, engaging with practitioners in our State and Local Economic Development or SLED seminar, taking one of the affiliated field lab courses, or helping state and local governments develop policy solutions through the policy analysis exercise. Today we celebrate this last item, and I have the great pleasure and privilege of announcing this year's Taubman Center Urban Prize. The Taubman Center Urban Prize recognizes achievement in a paper that addresses domestic urban issues here in the United States and it's open to Harvard Kennedy School students who have prepared an original policy analysis exercise, the PAE. Awards are based on the ability of the author or the authors to clearly define a particular issue facing state and local government and to propose actionable steps towards alleviating or resolving the problem. As is usually the case, we received some stellar submissions on a wide array of important issues from a diverse set of regions around this country, including supporting the construction of new housing in Richmond, California, increasing bus priority across Greater Boston, replicating performance measures in West Virginia, powering an equitable energy transition in San Francisco, streamlining the process for managing transportation in Colorado, expanding economic opportunities for small businesses in Washington, D.C., attracting more restaurant and retail opportunities in Fairfield, California, and tackling infant and toddler care affordability right here in Cambridge, Massachusetts. There are so many more, and I want to congratulate and thank everyone who submitted their PAE and to all the PAE submissions done by all the students. I know how much work goes into this, and we truly appreciate your efforts. In the end, we had to select one submission. On behalf of our director, Professor Jeff Liebman, and our entire Taubman team, this year's Taubman Center Urban Prize goes to Kim Davila, Sebastian Fernandez, and Navi Gudarzi. Their PAE was a new face for Los Angeles, preparing for LA County's first elected executive. Their client was Sarah Sadwani, a member of the Los Angeles County Governance Reform Task Force, which was charged with providing recommendations on how to stand up this new office as approved by voters through Measure G. Are they ghosting us here? Okay. I just want to get a couple of headlines so you know how important this is. Los Angeles County is the largest in the country. It has a population of 10 million people, which is more than 40 US states. Its annual budget is over $52 billion, which is larger than the budgets of 22 states in the US. And for over a century, it's operated in its current structure. So in November 2024, voters approved this change to have an inaugural county executive taking office with the elections of November of 2028. And I just want to give a news flash for the graduates of HKS in 2028-29 and HKS alums, job opportunity coming your way. This county executive will be the second most influential executive in the state of California behind the governor. So without further ado, I want to congratulate and thank Kim, Sebastian, and Navid on their incredible work on this PAE. We'll be sure to track them down and give them their prizes in person. There is also a cash prize that comes with this, but I'll leave you with a cliffhanger on how much. Thank you, everyone.
Good morning, everyone. I'm Eliana La Ferrara, the faculty chair of the Master in Public Administration and International Development, and I'm here with Sarah. I'm here with Sarah Olia, the program director, and give it up for the MPID. So it is my pleasure this morning to present several awards to MPID students. And we're gonna start from the Second Year Policy Analysis Awards, or SIPA Awards. The SIPA is an important part of the MPID program. It's a capstone project in which students choose a real-world policy problem to address through a final paper. It really exemplifies all that we're trying to teach to our MPIDs. They have to find an important policy-relevant question, diagnose what's going wrong, why this problem is still out there, find partners with whom to work or think of partners who would engage in solving that problems, and then use all of the maths and quant skills that they've learned to find data and say, what do we know about this problem so far? What else can we use data to understand better? And given what we learned, what policy solution can we design? And of course, these solutions need to be implementable. So the SIPA also asks to not only consider technical feasibility, but also how managerially and politically feasible these solutions are. So it's something that really brings together all the skills they learn, and they work on it starting early in the summer after their first year through their second year. It's really a fulfilling process. So we have 3 sections in the SAIPA, and this is the reason why I will announce 3 SAIPA awards. The first Outstanding SAIPA Award was written by Xander Cohen and Cassandra Torres Mazan. So I'm going to ask the awardees to join me on stage while I read a few words about their SAIPA. The title is Moving Beyond the Hype, Unlocking Brazil's Rare Earth Potential. And the advisor is Professor Gautam Nair, and the section leader is Professor Ander Jensen. And let me read you some of the words that Professor Jensen wrote to describe this piece. Brazil holds 23% of known global rare earth element reserves, and yet accounts for less than 1% of the current global output. In a context where these elements are in increasing demand, countries with reserves are racing to try to build sustainable supply chains, from extraction to processing and supplying to world markets. Xander and Cassandra take on this complex, multifaceted policy problem. Through an expert combination of quantitative and qualitative analysis, the SAIPA delivers deep insights, including Brazil's advantage at the extraction stage, but which requires scaling to be financially viable and the absence of domestic governance capacity to achieve that scale. Xander and Cassandra worked tirelessly throughout the year in deep consultation with both domestic and international partners to provide tangible, administratively feasible, and politically viable recommendation. This SAIPA is a real achievement. Congratulations, Xander and Cassandra. Okay. The second Outstanding SAIPA Award was written by Ishan Bansai and Kailash Pandey. Ishan and Kailash, please make your way to the podium. Stuck in a low landing trap, can AI fix Nepal's micro, small, and medium enterprises credit allocation? So the advisor for this work was Professor Ricardo Hausmann and the section leader, Professor Carmen Reinhardt. So Professor Reinhardt wrote, medium and small enterprises are economic engines of growth in many developing countries. These enterprises contribute significantly to GDP, but are constrained by lack of access to credit. Women-owned businesses often face even greater financing obstacles. Technology adoption and adaptation is one of the key fundamental challenges of development, and artificial intelligence-enabled digital transformation is potentially an exceptional opportunity for development. Ishan and Kailash tackle this dual challenge and explore the possible role of AI in tilting the allocation of existing capital towards credit for medium and small enterprises. Their outstanding and granular analysis takes to heart the issue of medium and small enterprise lending in Nepal and explores what needs to happen and when and how to enable fintech to address the dearth of credit to this potentially vibrant sector. This paper sits at the intersection of technology and financial policy and is enriched by a compelling review of the growing literature, a combination of economic data alongside structured interviews and thoughtful policy recommendations. Congratulations, Ishan and Kailash. So for the third outstanding second-year policy analysis paper, we're going to double down and call on the podium Andrea Salazar-Diaz and Stephanie Wu. So the title of their SIPA, let me repeat it, is Rethinking Masculinity Norms in India. I was the advisor and Professor Rima Hanna was the section leader. So rather than reading again the description of their work, which you heard, I want to spend a couple of words telling you the path that they followed because I found it really impressive. First, since the first year, they decided they wanted to work on the role of gender in development, and soon they converged on the real challenge that toxic masculinity norms present in many societies. And in India, these norms often translate in violence against women. They identified a partner, the Center for Men and Boys, and part of their work was actually to go through very disturbing online material to understand who were the influencers and what narratives they were using. So imagine them identifying influencers, transcribing over 6,000 YouTube videos, using complex machine learning methods to analyze the text of these videos, find the narratives, and then downloading 800,000 comments, analyzing the comments, all of this to say, this is what these people are talking about, and if you want to undo the narrative, this might be a way to take that audience and shift their attention to other topics. So it's truly frontier work where economists take the best of their knowledge to learn from other disciplines and tackle policy problems. So congratulations, Andrea and Steph, for an amazing job. We'll do one picture and then move to other. The next award is the Raymond Vernon Award for Commitment to International Development. This is presented to a graduating MPID student or students who best personify the values of the program, namely dedication to the field of international development, citizenship, academic excellence, and potential future contribution and leadership. The award is named for Professor Raymond Vernon, whose vision and humanity continues to inspire those of us who work in this field. I am pleased to announce the recipient of this year's Raymond Vernon Award is Anna Christina Thorsheim. So to be considered for the award, MPID students need to be nominated by their fellow program mates. And Christina received a large number of nominations. I'm gonna read to you some experts. One nominator calls Anna Christina a development rock star who founded and leads her own NGO in Africa, always building new things, learning and strengthening her skills, even taking extra macroeconomic courses to better inform her work. Another nominator writes that Anna Christina is not only the MPID that will make the biggest contribution to development, she is already the one that has done the biggest contribution so far, highlighting her program that has helped many women make informed contraceptive decisions. A classmate notes that she's committed to questioning what are the most effective causes in development and excited about taking risks and starting new things to make a difference. Others praise her determination, positivity, and hard work. After graduation, Ana Cristina will focus on building a philanthropy agency. We are honored to recognize Ana Cristina for the profound impact she's already making and the even greater impact still ahead. Congratulations, Ana Cristina.
Good morning. It is my pleasure to introduce Maria Alejandra Arteta Davila, my classmate, friend, and Colombian fellow. She's a powerful woman whose warmth, leadership, and extraordinary ability to bring people together has left a lasting impression in the MPAID cohort.
Our cohort voted for her as our class speaker because she embodies the spirit of this community. She is brilliant, compassionate, deeply authentic, and fully committed to lifting those around her. Please help us welcome with a warm applause
Maria Alejandra.
Thank you, Mallory and Leland, for the amazing introduction. Good morning, beloved families, friends, and most importantly, the incredible MPAID class of 2026. I want to start with something honest. This is a hard time to graduate. The world we are walking into is not waiting for us with open arms and clear instructions. For many of us, the path forward is not the one we imagined when we applied. Some of us are going to jobs that feel like detours. Some of us don't know yet what comes next. And some of us have made decisions that don't fit neatly into the story of, I came to Harvard to change the world, and this is exactly how I'm doing it. I am one of those people. I come from investment banking in the private sector to the MPAID, and I am going back to the private sector. For a long time, I wrestled with whether this was the right choice. But today, I believe impact takes many forms. So this is not a detour, it's a decision. And many of you have made different versions of this decision, hard ones that don't come with applause. But this isn't the first hard choice we've made, and it won't be the last. The first hard choice was deciding to come. One day, each of us woke up and decided quietly, stubbornly, that the world as it is not the world as it should be. So we left our countries, our families, our comfort, our careers. Some of us even took on financial debt to be here. And we came to Cambridge ready to change the world. The second hard choice was deciding to stay. Nobody warned us about the Hamiltonians, the problem sets, the endless R files that refused to render at 2 a.m. But also, no one warned us about the cost of being away from our families, our parents getting older, siblings growing up over video calls, and partners like my own who held everything together back home for us to be here. We gave a lot to be in this room today. But this program took our conviction and made it precise. It took our urgency and turned it into a toolkit. We came here wanting to change the world, and we leave knowing how. And now we face the third and final hard choice. What comes next? Not all of us are leaving here with a clear path, and that is okay. Because hard choices don't come with applause. They come with uncertainty, with doubt, but with the quiet hope that the long game is worth playing. That is not weakness. That is exactly what this program trained us for. But through every one of these hard decisions, we did not get through them alone. We had each other and 37 countries. We traveled the world without ever leaving Cambridge. And yes, 10 of us were Colombian, so we have kept things lively, to say the least. And we had our families. So to the families in this room, for the past 2 years, you have been wearing the Harvard hats, the Harvard sweatshirts, drinking from the Harvard mugs, and telling everyone at work about us. But most importantly, you were on the other end of the midnight phone calls, and you believed in us when we stopped believing in ourselves. So today belongs to you as much as it belongs to us. Now to my cohort, the MPAID class of 2026. We are leaving here with something most people never get: the network, the training, the language to name what is broken, and the tools to fix it. This is an extraordinary privilege, and it comes with an extraordinary responsibility. The world does not need us to stay quiet or play it safe. The world needs us to walk into every difficult room and raise our voices for those with no seat at the table and for the problems that are too easy to ignore. And for every hard choice still to come, you will not face them alone, because we have each other. When you run for president, and I know some of you will, we will be in the streets holding your banners. When you become minister and have to make an impossible decision at midnight with no good options, we will be the ones you call. When the work feels impossible and you're wondering if any of it is making a difference, we will be there to remind you why you started. Class of 2026, we made the hard choice to come, we made the hard choice to stay, and we will keep making the hard choices ahead, not because they are easy, but because our privilege demands us to raise our voices for those who can't. But we don't face these hard choices like everyone else. We have a cohort that picks up the phone at midnight. We have families that believed in ourselves when we stopped believing in us, with the tools to turn conviction into action, and with the one thing that brought us all here from the start: the stubborn, unshakable belief that the world as it is not the world as it should be. That has not changed, and it never will. Congratulations, MPID class of 2026. Let's go make the hard choices.
We would now like to invite the 2026 Graduating Class Campaign Committee, Chara Cha, Sunny Jiang, and Sung Tak Oh, to present the 2026 class gift.
Faculty, staff, family, and the leaders from the class of 2026. Namaste. I am Chahat Shah. Besides me on the stage are my colleagues Sunny and Sangtek. I come from India, and I carry along with me dreams of 1 billion people. I am the first, not just in my family, but in my entire village and the community I represent, to pass through the gates of Harvard. After a year of separation, I am having my family over here in this park today. There are many such families who are uniting today, and many more who are watching this event online, because the rules and regulations have some impact on it. And this is what a lot of us did last summer. This moment belongs to all of them watching online in different time zones, as much as it belongs to us. This place is filled with people who are already changing the world. They will go on to lead cities, states, and organizations. They would be designing policies and building systems that lift millions of people out of poverty, out of crisis, and predominantly out of invisibility. HKS gave us the knowledge, the network, and the skills to do that. But I want to ask you something. How many of us would be over here without any kind of support? Along with fees and the exchange rate, there is a cost of PAs, of conferences, of every experience that makes HKS an education and transformative. The dream is real, but so is the weight. And for many of us, that weight could have been the reason we never made it here at all. But there is a mechanism that catches people before it falls. It is called the graduating class campaign. And it exists because the classes that came before us believed in the future. Financial aid is not a charity. It is investment in the future. Today, we all are the future, but from tomorrow onwards, it will be someone else. Thank you.
Ask not only what you can receive from HKS, but also what you can give. Graduating class campaign is how we, as students, support one another. Every dollar goes directly to supporting students, supporting financial aid, curriculum transformation, student activities, and field-based learning. When you give, you are funding a classmate's PAE or SciPy research, their summer internship in the field, and someone's chance to be here at all. We're not asking for large amounts. What we are asking is you help build a culture of giving, for showing up for one another. This year, we have raised already $9,000 for HKS students, with contributions from 156 donors. Thank you to everyone who has participated and to those who are about to join us. Thank you.
Hey everyone, Sangtek here. And in case you haven't figured it out, we are here to ask you to join us in contributing to the graduating class of campaign 2026. And yes, I know what some of you may be thinking. We already paid a crazy amount of tuition. Why the hell should we pay even a penny more? Well, that's a fair question, but I assure you, this campaign is not about Harvard trying to take your money for the one last time. It's about making a small personal choice, a choice to make HKS experience more possible for someone out there. The readings that seem to never end, the policy memos we wrote at midnight, the group projects that tested our skills and sometimes our patience, the days we wondered whether we were good enough. And quite honestly, we can't be the only ones suffering from all those, can we? And yes, you do get something in return. Class of 2026 limited edition HKS swag, and the chance to hear directly from future students whose lives change because of your support. We will leave the campus very soon, but our impact does not have to. Our legacy does not have to. So I ask, what does HKS mean to you? And what would you like to leave at HKS? To wrap up, congratulations to Harvard Kennedy School, class of 2026. And as we leave, may we have the serenity to accept the things we cannot change, the courage to change the things we can, and the wisdom to know the difference. Thank you very much.
Now we have the pleasure of hearing from Professor Kathleen Hong, Senior Lecturer in Public Policy and Faculty Chair of the MPA Programs and the Mid-Career MPA Summer Program for the Donald K. Prize Award. Welcome, Professor Kesley. And Emma Heffern, Director of the MPAD Programs.
Hi, everyone. I'm Emma Heffern, Director of MPA Programs.
Thanks, MPAs. The Don K. Price Award was established in honor of Don Price, Dean of the Kennedy School from 1958 to 1977, and one of the architects of the school in its modern incarnation. Don Price was a vice president of the Ford Foundation in 1958 when he was asked to take over as the dean and lead this institution to become the premier graduate school of public service. Price responded to this challenge by working to develop a full-time faculty, a new and more professionally oriented curriculum, and integration of the real world of politics, public policy, and management into the core of the school's mission. Today, we honor 3 MPA students with the Don K. Price Award. This year's award recognizes members of the graduating MPA class who both made a significant positive contribution to the Kennedy School community and demonstrated academic success. A committee of faculty and staff reviewed the nominations by peers and selected the following students as this year's Don K. Price Award winners. I will call all names. Please come forward together. Caroline Chen. Cameron Davis. Yamini Saxena. As they approach the stage, I'll share a few examples of the positive contributions they have made to the community during their time here. These comments are for the nominations that were submitted. Caroline has been a driving force in our MPA community who always brings positive energy. She organized retreats, shared her cooking and baking skills, initiated a book club, hosted outings, and is generous in sharing cultural insights, even that of shopping at Costco. Cameron's impact on the HKS community was both consistent and deeply felt. He played a central role in fostering connection across the cohort. He served as KSSG class representative, provided extensive assistance in helping classmates find resources, and he made introductions and engaged meaningfully with others. Yemeni has been instrumental in keeping the MPA family spirit thriving. She is remarkably effective at bringing people together. She organized a wide range of events, organized a conference, and served as KSSG class representative. She has been a social anchor and supportive voice for our cohort. It has been such a pleasure to work with this group of MPAs. Thank you for making a difference in this community, and we look forward to hearing of your successes in the years to come. Congratulations.
Good morning. The Don K. Price Award was established, we're now on the Littauer Award. Okay. The idea of a School of Public Affairs at Harvard was born on the eve of World War II, as the US government grappled with historic challenges, both domestic and international. Harvard alumnus and New York Congressman Lucius N. Littauer backed his vision of a school for a new professional governing class with an unprecedented $2 million gift, then the largest single gift from an individual donor ever given to a university. Mr. Littauer made a contribution in his lifetime that still lives on today through the Mid-Career MPA program. Today, we honor 8 mid-career MPA students with the Lucius N. Littauer Award. These awards are given to members of the graduating mid-career class who both made a significant positive contribution to the Kennedy School community and also demonstrated academic success. A committee of faculty and staff reviewed nominations by classmates, as well as the academic and community contributions of graduating students, and selected the following 8 students as this year's award winners. I will call all names. Please come forward together. Han Chu. Helen Gao. Celeste Herbert. Hunnell Park. Brian Reynolds. Marley Van Niekerk. Amelia Vanderlaan, Darren Walsh. As the winners approach the stage, I would like to share a few words about each of them taken from the nominations of their classmates. Han has tirelessly organized our weekly time together as a class. She has often worked behind the scenes, seeking input, hosting tough discussions, incorporating the breadth of experience our cohort has to offer. She's friendly to all and has helped others feel connected. Helen worked tirelessly and cheerfully to unite the MCMPA community. She has gone beyond expectations to ensure that every student feels seen, supported, and valued. She currently serves as a class marshal. She ensures that every question is answered thoroughly and promptly. She's motivated by the sincere desire to make this momentous day as stress-free as she can for our classmates. Celeste led the MCMPA seminar committee all year, herding a team of planning volunteers with enormous patience, grace, and sensitivity. She is intentional about building community and bringing people together. Her impact is not loud, but it is steady and real. Her presence set the tone for the kind of community we ultimately became. Hanul has been MCMPA class representative and has hosted team building events and social outings for the cohort. One classmate's nomination detailed Hanul's efforts in drawing students' home country flags on their name tags. They wrote, "The flags were a taste of home for international students who are missing their families and communities. They symbolize the strength of our diverse backgrounds when brought together in one place." Brian served as MCMPA class representative for the entire year. He is a super positive person who truly cares about people, about this school, and about his impact on the world. He has been an effective advocate for students and has built trusted relationships with faculty and administrators that have led to concrete outcomes. He is the connective backbone of the cohort. Marley played a pivotal role in our cohort and brought people together. She was a voice of reason and compassion in navigating difficult moments, always considering what was best for both individuals and for the group as a whole. She is an inspiration to many of us and a strong advocate for public leadership. Amelia brings people together in ways that feel both effortless and deeply intentional. She has hosted many gatherings, creating spaces where classmates can connect, unwind, and build community. She leads a climate change group, shares career opportunities, organizes study groups and speakers, and creates pathways for classmates to get more involved. Darren is an effective bridge between people and was often the translator between different worlds, beliefs, and ways of living. She was unafraid to take on controversial issues with curiosity and grace. She made everyone feel included and heard. She assisted with organizing seminars and was a supportive friend to all. She built community by always showing up with kindness and support for others and noticing when people were left out. As you can tell, all of our students contributed to this community and embodied the HKS spirit of serving others. It is my honor to present the recipients of the 2026 Lucius Littero Awards. Thank you for making a difference in this community, and we look forward to hearing of the contributions you will make in the lives of many in the years to come. Congratulations.
All right, this is us. All right. Hi, everyone. As mid-career students, we each bring a unique work history to our studies at HKS, and our next speaker is no different. Brian Hill, where are you? Yes. Yes. Keep it coming. Keep it coming. Amazing. Now we gotta sit through our intro. He is an entrepreneur and a social impact leader, best known for his professional life as the founder of Edovo, a technological platform that provides educational and rehabilitative content to incarcerated individuals in the United States. But Brian's kindness extends far beyond his job.
Brian has organized countless service initiatives for our class, creating meaningful opportunities to give back to the greater Boston area. This generosity and steady leadership he brings to our community is only matched by his devotion he brings to his family, his wife, Callie, and their 4 daughters, each of whom pursue their own passions with the same energy and purpose that Brian models every day. Please join me in giving a warm welcome to a leader who reminds us that impact starts with service, community, and family. Brian Hill.
It's a beautiful sight to see you. It's just amazing that we are all here. I think about the intense uncertainty we had in coming here, but you all fought through and you made it. Unfortunately, I don't know that the uncertainty has changed much. In fact, I fear it's gotten worse. But I am inspired just looking at you and knowing that this is the group that will lead through the challenges of tomorrow, and you will fight through that again and again and again. But regardless of where we came from in the world, and this is truly a world audience, which is fun to see, we all started this program in an econ class, which is an incredibly Kennedy School way to begin the year. And so I thought it'd be fitting if we finish this year with a little math, just very simple math. I want to talk about slopes and intercepts. On a graph, the y-intercept is the point in the line where the line begins. And one thing this year has reminded me is that everyone begins from a different place. Some of us were born with stability, resources, networks, and access. Some of us were not. Some of us began with the wind at our backs, while others with weight on their shoulders. We all have different intercepts. For 13 years, as you heard, I have worked in jails and prisons across America, and that work has reminded me, has taught me that starting points matter. Opportunity is not evenly distributed, grace is not evenly distributed, and people are too often judged by the worst point on their line. But I've also come to believe deeply that we are not defined by our intercepts. What's the more important question is, what is our slope? What direction are we moving? Are we rising? Unlike lifeless lines on a graph, the lives in our formula is not, our lives are not affixed on one formula. Our trajectories can change, and more important than that, our lives are interactive. Every day we come across the lives of others, and when we do, we have the opportunity to change their trajectory. We can lift people upward, or we can pull them down. We can give confidence, access, forgiveness, and dignity, or we can withhold them. So as we leave this place, I want to offer 3 simple invitations as you think about your personal slope. First, aspire higher. Not for status and not for applause, because potential is not the same thing as greatness. Potential is stored energy. It needs to become kinetic. It has to be turned into responsibility. The danger of a place like Harvard is that we may mistake selection for completion. But we are not here because we have arrived. We are here because we have been entrusted. Second, do not hoard power, give it away. We can use power to climb over people, or we can use power to create more room for people to climb. Power collected only for ourselves eventually collapses inward. It's like a negative parabolic slope. The leaders I admire most are those who distribute power. They open doors, they share the credit, and they make others stronger by increasing their personal agency and choice. The question is not just how high can I rise? The real question is, who rises with me? Third, give grace. Give it to others and give it to yourself. Every culture and faith tradition seems to have some version of this concept, and we all need it. In Islam, it's Rahmah. In Judaism, it's Chesed. If we increase personal agency the way we hope, we will also inherently increase opportunities for failure. We will have good days and we will have bad days, and others will too. We will make mistakes. In those points, in those moments, we will be tempted to judge others and ourselves by one point on the graph, the worst day, the sharpest fall, the lowest choice. but nobody wants to be judged by their worst day. Now, grace does not mean ignoring harm nor avoiding accountability. It means remembering that a person is more than one point on the graph. The world may not always give us this grace. Politics often will not give us this grace. And social media definitely will not give you that grace. But history is kinder to trend lines than it is to headlines. And I believe God is too. See, trend lines are our character. And character is shaped less by the grand moments in front of crowds and far more by the quiet choices we make behind closed doors. It happens in the walls of our own home. It happens in the way we show up as fathers and as mothers, as sons and as daughters, as spouses and as friends. It happens with the person we help without credit. With the apology that we offer. With the dignity that we give. And with the door that we open and never mention again. These are the moments that incline our slope upwards. So as we leave this place, as we leave these grounds, don't be satisfied or discouraged with your intercept. Do not hoard the power that this place gives you, and do not judge others by one point on their graph. Aspire higher. Give power away. Offer grace freely to yourself and to others. And every morning when we think about our call to ask what you can do, choose to do that, which will bend your slope upward and lift someone else's line. Thank you.
Hi, I'm Melissa Wojciechowski St. John, and as the Senior Director of Student Services here at HKS, I run the advising program. Advisors are an incredibly important part of the Harvard Kennedy School. Whether they're formally assigned, found in the classroom or at office hours, or guiding a capstone project, they can change the course of a student's trajectory. This year's Advisor of the Year award goes to Eliana LaFerrera. Eliana's nominators said what truly sets her apart is her kindness in a field that can often prioritize outcomes over individuals. They call her a beacon of compassion and integrity, generous with her time and deeply invested in the long-term success and well-being of her students. Finally, they note her remarkable combination of intellectual rigor and humanity. And one said, "I could not have asked for a more dedicated and impactful advisor." Eliana, it's an honor to present you with this year's Advisor of the Year award, and thank you for your outstanding service to our students.
Hi, everyone. It is my profound honor to present the Manuel Carvalho Award for Excellence in Teaching. This year's recipient is a rare and wonderful anomaly, a professor beloved across the entire political spectrum, from the most progressive to the most conservative. He has devoted his career to the unglamorous, essential work of bipartisan relationship building, chairing the bipartisan program for newly elected members of Congress, and executive education program for state and local leaders. He is the steadfast ally to the LGBTQ community and a powerful advocate for democracy around the world. He teaches us that all politics are relational, and he lives this principle every single day. He has built extraordinary bonds with his students through now maybe thousands of hours of office hours. He is so beloved that the waitlist to join his fan club doesn't open until 2050. He is, quite simply, your favorite teacher's favorite teacher. And I'm honored to call him my mentor. Please join me in celebrating Professor David King.
I love commencement. Congratulations, class of 2026. The Dean's Award for Excellence in Student Teaching is given to course assistants, teaching fellows, and course coaches nominated by the students they taught in recognition of the critical role student teaching plays in the learning process at the Kennedy School. This year, we celebrate the 31st year of these awards, begun in 1996 by Dean Joan Nye, the 7th Dean of the Harvard Kennedy School, to recognize outstanding student teaching by our teaching assistants. The nominations make it perfectly clear what makes a good teaching assistant: knowledge of the subject matter, the ability to make difficult material comprehensible to students of diverse backgrounds, a commitment to teaching, a positive and professional attitude, and perhaps most important of all, accessibility. The teaching assistants we're honoring today meet all of these qualifications and then some. These recipients have exhibited dedication to the job beyond reasonable expectations. They've demonstrated exceptional talent in clarifying difficult subject matter, and they've done it all with humor and grace. Before announcing the recipients, I'd like to recognize the work of the members of the Academic Affairs Committee, who managed the nomination and selection process this year. Madhukar Banuri, Lydia Brosnahan, Jake Green, Shawnee Griffith-Jack, Celeste Herbert, Carolina Lucy, Elsa Nisa, Matias Ramos, Ruhi Wadwania, Ying Wong, Alina Wisteria, and Justin Wong. The comments I'll make about the performance of these honorees are all the words of their students coming from those nominations. And along with a certificate, recipients will also receive an award prize of $150. I'll read the names in alphabetical order. When your name is called, please join me and remain at the podium until all recipients have their awards. Our first recipient is Nyo Min Din, the course assistant for IGA 260, Asia in the World, and teaching fellow for IGA 108, China in the World, Challenges, Competition, and Cooperation. One nominator shared that Min carried himself with professionalism, humility, and generosity throughout the course. He brought impressive expertise to discussions while still making students feel comfortable, respected, and encouraged to engage. He had an encyclopedic knowledge of American history and politics, uncommon even among Americans. He specifically sought my perspective on numerous issues of American history, which were not of any practical importance to him in his career. This reflects a deep human interest rather than a transactional relationship. Our next recipient is Jacob Jameson, teaching fellow for API 222, Machine Learning and Big Data Analytics, API 101, A and B, Resources, Incentives, and Choices, Markets and Market Failures, and API 303, Game Theory and Strategic Decisions. One of Jacob's nominators highlighted that Jacob was incredibly helpful in leading office hours and review sessions focused on the core content of the course. I had zero background in econ prior to this course, and thanks to Jacob, I gained a strong foundation that prepared me for API 102. The examples he shared during sessions were super clear and helped build off of the material we learned from class. Congratulations, Jacob. The next recipient is Chris Lee, teaching fellow for IGA 260, Asia in the World, and IGA 550, the Policy and Geopolitics of Artificial Intelligence. Nominators remarked that when Chris shows up to a class or an event, you can tell he is fully invested in being there. He's delivered presentations in class, and you can see how much work he put into the slides and practicing his remarks because he takes both the students' time and student learning seriously. He has a high standard of work, and it's consistent across the board. I've been in multiple classes that Chris has assisted with, and every time he delivers the exact same high quality of products, grading, and feedback. At times, he will be cold called in class to share an expert opinion, and it doesn't matter the topic, he's always ready with insightful analysis or meaningful critiques that help shape how students see the problem. Congratulations, Chris. Our next recipient is Zoe Mayuse Markle, course coach for MLD 280, Advanced Workshop in Multi-Party Negotiations. One of Zoe's nominators appreciated how Zoe is incredibly knowledgeable and able to apply theory to practice. She had an opportunity to teach the class and link together frameworks with a negotiation simulation and did it beautifully. There's no doubt that her knowledge extends beyond the course, and we only saw a snippet of her understanding of negotiation theory and practice. Congratulations, Zoe. Our next recipient is Eldayag Mustafayev, Teaching Fellow for API 119 and API 120, Advanced Macroeconomics for the Open Economy. In the words of one nominator, Eldayag is the person who made me love macroeconomics and understand it at an intuitive level. He transformed my relationship with macroeconomics from pure math to an actual understanding and appreciation. While some people may be knowledgeable, Eldayag has incredible pedagogy. He uses a mix of simple examples, numerical examples, and graphs, and any tool he can use to make things simpler. Congratulations, Eldayag. Our last recipient is Stephanie Wu, Teaching Fellow for API 318, Thinking Analytically in an Uncertain World. Stephanie's nominators agree that Stephanie was an excellent instructor in the Friday review sessions for the class. At first, I didn't even realize she was a fellow student. She was extremely knowledgeable on the class material and was always able to answer our questions, but did so with humility. Each review session lesson was intentionally structured to support our learning in the class and to help us go beyond it. Congratulations, Stephanie. Congratulations to all of you, and thank you for your truly outstanding work.
Good morning. My name is Debbie Isaacson. I'm the Senior Associate Dean for Degree Programs and Student Affairs here at the Kennedy School. And I promise you, we are nearly done. Just hang in a few more minutes. The Robert F. Kennedy Award for Excellence in Public Service is one of our highest honors. And it is presented to a graduating Kennedy School student whose commitment, activities, and contributions to public service are extraordinary, in the image of Robert F. Kennedy himself. It is therefore a truly humbling honor to have the opportunity to present this award to acknowledge one of our community members whose impact and service have been truly remarkable. This year's award recipient is MPP student Ruhi Wadwania. Stay right there while I embarrass you for just a few minutes. The selection committee was particularly moved by Ruhi's selflessness and service to others and her capacity for building and advocating for community. Please allow me to share just a bit more about what made Ruhi's nomination and her candidacy stand out in a year with a large field of really incredible nominees. Prior to coming to HKS, Ruhi worked as an immigration and social services caseworker, assisting immigrant farm workers and unhoused veterans access unemployment and other benefits. Then, as a health policy analyst at University of California Health, she worked to address health inequities at the state level by creating pathways for people from underserved communities to become healthcare providers. This truly diversified and strengthened the healthcare workforce. Throughout her time here at HKS, she has continued that activism and care for others. She has immersed herself in the local community, finding different ways to serve as a champion for the underserved. She founded the Cambridge Housing Affordability Organizers Group and brought her peers to Cambridge City Hall in order to testify alongside city residents themselves. She volunteered at First Parish Church, supporting unhoused community members. And during HKS's transition term, she helped the new mayor of Brockton, Massachusetts, garner meaningful community engagement in a city that is badly under-resourced. At the same time, she has made innumerable contributions to our own HKS community, serving as the Kennedy School Student Government Vice President for Diversity, Equity, and Anti-Racism, as chair of the Muslim Caucus and the Palestine Caucus, and as chair of the Health Policy PIC. She also helped to organize events like the HKS Community Iftar and a Know Your Rights training for non-citizen students. Do it. In the words of one of her nominators, quote, Ruhi lives and breathes the principles of organizing and activism. She is someone people turn to in moments of uncertainty, whether they are navigating complex systems or trying to create meaningful change. Her commitment to underrepresented communities is not abstract. It is active, consistent, and deeply rooted in both her values and her work, end quote. Perhaps what made Ruhi stand out most, however, was the quiet, humble ways in which she approaches this work. As another nominator noted, quote, through it all, she has never sought the limelight or the credit. She has remained focused on pushing us all to be better and expect better while striving toward a more just and equitable community here at HKS and beyond. It is for this persistent dedication to serving others, her kindness, and her ability to engage peers in meaningful action that we recognize Ruhi Wadwanya with the RFK Award this year.
In closing our program, I'd like to call all of our class marshals to the stage. But before I close our program, I have to give not one, not two, but 3 birthday shout-outs. 2 to my colleagues, Associate Director of MPA Programs, Bobby Croak, and 1 to MPP Director, Kate Monahan. And another one to our very own class marshal, Leland Ferreira. A very happy birthday to all of you. Thank you so much for sharing it with us. And in actually closing, the students behind me were elected by their peers to hold the honorific title of Class Marshal. They've been meeting with us since March to plan this day and to support the diploma ceremony tomorrow. We've worked very closely together, and therefore it's with great joy that I'd like to recognize MPP Class Marshals Gaurav Kalwani and Theo Zhang, MPA Class Marshals Cameron Davis and Walter Wu, MPID class marshals, Mallory Escobar Gonzalez and Leland Pereira, and mid-career class marshals, Helen Gao and Paige Swan. We look forward to seeing them lead their classmates into this very tent tomorrow. This concludes our ceremony, and we look forward to seeing you back under the tent at 3 p.m. for the address to graduates by Zanny Minton Beddos. Thank you so much.